Welcome to our monthly State Street, Waterfront, Upper State Street wrap meeting, everyone. Good to see you all. We are here today to discuss homelessness issues in the State Street, Waterfront, and Upper State regions. And I'm going to just start with a couple of dates to keep on everyone's radar. Number one being this Saturday, Housing Santa Barbara Day, which will be right downtown in De La Guerra Plaza. And I think a lot of the organizations here will be present there tabling. So good way to get connected to different housing services and also just learn more about different housing advocacy efforts throughout the city. We'll be there. We'll be tabling as well. Then on the 30th, we have our next neighborhood walk. We'll be meeting at Sprouts on the east side and then walking down closer to Path. And then our next State Street meeting on the 9th of November. And finally, our next all-call wrap meeting on December 11th, so a ways away. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into updates from our providers. So why don't we start with Good Samaritan?
Good morning, or not good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just bringing up our meeting notes. Since we last met, I wasn't at the last meeting, but since then, we've been out doing outreach, and over the heat wave, we were able to give out 38 cases of water, which was about 1,300 water bottles, a little bit over than that. Just to individuals experiencing homelessness. We have seen quite a lot of people in the Pershing Park area, towards that area now. Seems like there's quite a bit of individuals sleeping overnight there as well. We have just been continuing to hit the waterfront and the Chase Palm Park, East Beach area, up along that area, and just kind of reaching out to see if anyone's interested in services and just trying to keep client appointments that we have for those individuals in the Santa Barbara area.
Thanks, Fernando. And we appreciate all your efforts with the heat wave.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, can we go to CityNet?
How you guys doing? Well, we're continuing to do our day and nighttime outreach. We did do 4 relocations since the last meeting. We got one into the stabilization center. We have another pending relocation that we're doing tomorrow from around the Dolphins. And we've been essentially focused on the waterfront and of course Lower State as usual. And one got into Dignity Moves actually on Tuesday. So we're staying busy. We've been contacting a lot of businesses on State Street, checking in with them. We've had several report that they have sporadic problems, but not nearly as much as they were before this project started. And we have our normal usual individuals out on State Street that we're running into daily. We're usually giving them water, snacks, and just building rapport, hopefully that they'll decide that they want to go into shelter or, pursue some sort of housing options. So that's about it from CityNet. Our city beds at Path are full, by the way, right now. We cleared a camp out at Arriaga Street last week, and we were needing a female bed. Right now we're waiting on that. And other than that, that's about where we're at. Then we are going up to the Alameda NNC on Thursday nights just to interact, build rapport. There's a couple clients that see us up there when we're there as well. So,
John, can you just clarify? You said that the businesses are having less issues since which project started? Do you mean the nights and weekends outreach?
I think since the nights and weekends.
That's great.
We've had several comments from businesses about that. We've also found out that some of the businesses on State Street actually don't have a problem with almost sleeping in their little doorways there, as long as they're not there during the day. Haven't seen much of that, but we still do see it. The 1100 block in particular, there's a lot less homeless hanging around the 1100 block. We have a couple of our regulars that hang out by the museum. And then on, I guess it was what night it was. One day last week, Katy Perry was downtown. I don't know if you guys knew
Yeah,
that.
sorry we forgot to give you the heads up on that, John.
Well, I do appreciate that, by the way, Barbara. But actually,
I think we lost you,
We
John.
lost
Are you
him. Were
still
you
there?
able to meet her? Wait, what was he about to say?
Yeah, I'm curious where this story was going. He's reconnecting. John, are you there? It sounds like we lost your audio for a minute.
are we back?
Yes, you were finishing your Katy Perry story.
Yeah, and actually, when we got down to the block that she was on, it had actually all cleared up, so it wasn't too big of a problem for us. Yeah, our State Street walk is kind of getting to be a tradition Thursday through Sunday, but we switch up the times we do it. Sometimes we do it a little earlier in the day, and sometimes we're out there later in the day. We've also been doing a regular check at the county admin building. We have 6 regulars that are staying under the canopy there in the back, and they're pretty much the same people every time we go. Haven't really seen any new faces or anything like that. Montecito Street has been relatively clear recently. We might see one as we're driving through there, and we're going through the train station. And of course, we've been checking Dwight Murphy Field. It's been clear for the last 4 or 5 times we've checked. East Beach seems to have less hanging out on the beach. I think we counted like 6 today, and we've counted as many as 20 out there on previous visits. West Beach, there's one that is kind of hanging out by the old swimming pool there that we've engaged with, and he seems to be interested in services. Pershing Park, sometimes during the day we see them kind of relaxing in there, but there's no sign of any camping going on in Pershing Park right now, which is good. So that's how things are going with us.
John, I just wanted to step in to ask, just from, word on the street, my personal observations, that there's been some folks that we don't recognize new to the area and, demonstrating a high acuity of needs. Can you share a little bit if you've encountered new folks?
We have encountered several new individuals, Barbara.
Okay.
One individual, this was last month though, he was out on State Street up around the 1000 block for like 4 or 5 nights. A very outgoing, friendly individual, wasn't interested in services. He would take snacks from us, and then he was just gone.
Okay.
And haven't seen him since. Then we had another one that the ambassadors made a call to us about 2 weeks ago down on the 600 block. We went and tried to engage with him, but he was not being vocal with us at all. He would not talk at all. We were under the understanding that he may want to be relocated, so we were looking to help him with that. He did take snacks from us, and we kind of had the impression that he was in need of behavioral wellness.
Yeah.
But it was hard to really get a read on him since he wouldn't talk to us at all. We told him we would be back on State Street later that evening, and we checked in with him. And we did run into him on State Street that evening. He was still not real vocal with us, but he followed us. He began following us up State Street as we were actually moving back towards our van, because it was almost time for our shift in, and we just turned around and asked him if you need anything, and he wouldn't respond. And I said, well, we're getting ready to go back to our office now. And then about 2 days after that, we saw him over in the area of Path.
Okay.
He was a little bit more vocal. He seemed a lot more comfortable. There was another new guy on State Street. It's Paul's his name. He's been around about 3 weeks now. He sits on the 900 block. Sorry, I used his name. He is on the 900 block. And we walk by, see him every day. He's not interested in services, but he does engage with us. So we're just working, building rapport with him. And there's a female that we ran into a couple weeks ago that was new to town, and she was looking for an ATM, and we pointed out where several were. And we've run into her on several different occasions out, but she is not interested in services. But once again, we've worked to build rapport with them.
Yeah.
So those are the new ones I can tell you about off the top of my head, Barbara.
And John, just last question. Do you know where they're traveling from, or the last place that they were?
A lot of most of them are kind of up from Ventura. Two of them for sure are up from Ventura.
Okay.
One was up from LA, the Valley somewhere in that area. And sometimes I ask, well, what's bringing you to Santa Barbara? And they say, we just hear you guys have a lot of help here.
We don't want to hear that, John, but thank you.
Well, that's what one of them did say, and I said, well,
we have just enough help. That's what we need.
That's what we have been hearing, Barbara. I'd like to also reiterate that, like John, when we find these clients that are from out of the area, at least in Santa Maria, Ivy, Lompoc has been a big one right now. I say, what brings you here? You're not from the area. Why would you want to be homeless in Lompoc? And they say, we've heard that you guys have the best services, that you guys have the best housing programs.
So you guys you're too good at your jobs. That's what's happening.
I'll get housed here a lot faster than in LA in another county. Yeah. I'm going to get on those housing lists, and I'm going to get housed here a lot quicker because you guys are good at what you do.
Yep.
And you almost just want to like be frightened and thank them.
Barbara, we can't help it that we're good at what we do.
But it's definitely concerning. I've heard that 10 plus people already. You guys have the best services. Even people in SLO. I was in SLO, I want to say 2 weeks ago. And they continuously say Santa Barbara County has the best services. You guys go above and beyond. And
I mean, that is true, and you do, but we need to work on changing that brand. That's all I'm saying.
I do too, because it scares me.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate the detailed update. It's very helpful.
Yeah, thank you for that. I don't see anyone from Safe Parking here today, but Odin, do you have any updates from the waterfront?
Sure. Just some light updates. I wanted to second John's observation of East Beach. Less people, and the people are there, individuals that we're already familiar with. There's one person that I really wanted to get in contact. He's usually right across from the Santa Barbara Inn, or right next to East Beach Tacos, but usually flying a sign. He's very open to the handouts, but slowly I'm just working on trying to get him, a little bit further along with the process than that. Other than that, just a few updates for the closed section, but it's been pretty smooth on the east side.
Thanks, Odin. Joao, do you have anything to report? And also, would you be willing to just make another plug for SB Connect?
Yeah, no new updates on State Street or the waterfront, but yes, we do have a city app that citywide you could download. It works for iPhone and Android, and you can report any issues regarding anything around the city. If it's a cracked sidewalk, a fallen tree, an encampment, shopping carts, you could even pay your bills on there. So go ahead, go download it. Thank you, Landon.
Thanks, Joao. And on a related note to that, I've been working with Barbara to try and design a business card size info sheet that we can hand out to businesses. And I just wanted to share with you all the draft to get any feedback that you might have. And so on one side, we'll have the QR code and the link so that individuals can go and download the full directory of all the services. But then on the other side, it would just have a quick reference guide for phone numbers to call for crisis, for homeless outreach on State Street or Waterfront, homeless outreach from PATH in the Lower East Side, for the SB Connect app, and then for the behavioral wellness access line.
Bear, I just sent this to you, but is this what you were hearing from businesses would be the easiest and most user-friendly for them? Okay, great.
So we'll
Would
be
you mind
working.
putting that back up real quick, Landon?
Yes, I can.
Hey, Landon, I also wanted to give just a general update as it kind of pertains to the city of Santa Barbara. We are starting and collaborating with churches for preparation of warming centers. That's something we've been working on. Had a few meetings. I just had a meeting with the city of Carpinteria yesterday. So we're scheduling, getting all the staff ready, which is kind of cool. I will be the coordinator for Santa Barbara and Carpinteria now. So that's just some news, and just wanted to give an update that we are starting that. The first day of the season will be November 15th. So given the weather meets the thresholds, we will be opening the Freedom Warming Center.
So I might suggest on that second page on that other side, for regular folks, we might not know, CityNet and PATH. And I think if we're going to report something, the thing that we really want to know is who do we report what to, and at what time will they respond? So it's great for folks to know the names of the agency, but I wonder if we can highlight like nights, weekends, State Street, Waterfront only, and then why would you call them? Would you call them because they see somebody in need, or because they are seeing them do something, illegal, or, why would they call them, and when would they call them, I think are important.
Thank you, Liz. That's helpful.
For businesses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We can, as far as the CityNet number goes, from Thursday through Sunday from 11:30 to 10 p.m., we usually strategize where our van is compared to where we are, so we can respond within 15 minutes to a situation we get a call on.
I had a question too about why Good Samaritan isn't on here. That's a great question. The main reason is that they're on the full resource guide. I don't have a hotline phone number for Good Sam. And so I put these ones on here just because it's more specific to like one specific neighborhood, whereas Good Sam, it's more general for the whole city. I'm
The
happy
easiest thing for us is to add my number on there. If they call me in odd hours, I get the voicemail, and then I send that to my each specific region to check in with those specific needs.
Okay.
Like in our mobile unit, my number is the one that's on there, and a lot of the voice messages that are on there will go specifically to like, hey, can we go check on this concern? Hey, can you go do on this? So that would be actually really effective.
Okay. Will you share that number with me on Ace just so I get the right one?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Landon, can I make one suggestion? There's a lot of the calls for service that we receive aren't necessarily criteria met for 911, but our non-emergency line would be a good option for that. So it might be worth putting that up there. It's a lesser known number that's probably more frequently appropriate than 911 for a lot of situations that people might call about for public safety reasons.
I actually had that one on the first draft. It's because this is business card size, at a certain point, I'm going to run out of room for all the numbers. So I have to pick and choose, but maybe that one takes precedence over. I'm not sure. We can all work with maybe you and Barbara and figure it out. But you're right. Like that is on the full resource guide because I want people to know that's who they should be calling for anything that's not urgent.
And then
Sorry,
on a related note, with SB Connect, so the police department's also looped in on that system. But one thing that I'm noticing as it's starting to roll out is that people are reporting in progress or things on SB Connect that they're not immediately addressed by somebody who's auditing that on a ongoing basis in real time. And so if somebody has a concern for public safety, that should be reported through 911 or non-emergency and not SB Connect.
And I would say, Landon, since the front or one side of the card has report encampments and the QR code, we don't need the encampment link on the other side, right? So that is where we want reports to go, both for data as well as how the team responds. And then we could have room maybe for the non-emergency line, and then to differentiate crisis versus individual and concern and response time.
No, that sounds good. Mayor Rouse.
Yeah, a question for Charlie. Hey, Charlie, if somebody calls 911, just because that's what they're used to calling, will 911 triage that call and go to any of those sources it's on those card, or will they always just do dispatch instead?
No, it'll be dispatched instead. And then what typically happens, Mayor, is if we have a call for service that's an officer is responding to that is not something that's in our like in our general response, then they'll have resources they can reach out to. So all of our officers have been provided with, through our homeless liaison here internally, a list of individuals and other entities that can help out with a variety of situations. And so officers would go triage a call and then call for assistance from the right organization if it's not the police department.
And then would it be handy if your officers each had a supply of those cards to give out?
Yeah, for sure. We have like some info we hand out now, but like a simple QR code card is something that we could easily give our officers who can hand those out to the public or to folks that they encounter on the street.
Cool.
And I think, the goal with this card is that if people have the numbers that are addressing situations that are non-crisis situations, that Mayor Russ, we will hopefully reduce the number of calls into the non-emergency line through PD. So that's
I would hope so too. I just know a lot of people will go to cops on the beat and say, hey, I don't really want to do 911. What can I do? And they can just boom,
Perfect.
Yeah, especially the business owners they're in contact with.
Well, thank you all. I really appreciate all the feedback on that. And then I don't want to gloss over what Fernando was sharing. From my understanding, they definitely are going to need some faith communities this winter because we're expecting a wet winter. So if anyone is connected, please do connect with Fernando.
Thank you, Landon.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to take the time to plug in if you think that you have someone that would be a great addition to our warming shelter staff. Please let them know that we are definitely hiring.
Thank you. All right, I do want to open it up for any community member concerns. We can stay on a couple of extra minutes if needed.
Hey, Landon, can I go ahead and make some remarks, please?
Yes, please.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm just going to put in the chat my email address because I've been, for the last couple months, involved with leading and putting together our e-business newsletter that's going out. I try to get it out at least twice a month on a more consistent basis. It includes stuff that the downtown Santa Barbara organization is involved with, some activities, and some other information that the city is involved with, just like Connect SB and other stuff, along with some news stories and clips that we feel that the downtown businesses would want to read up on. But I want to open that up to anybody on here that would love for us to communicate to businesses in any fashion, information. Some of you have been great with sending me that, but I'm going to go ahead and put my email in here. That way we can continue that discussion, letting our business owners know what's going on. But it also includes a list of various other entities such as real estate agents, those businesses, some past board members, and other groups. This is not part of our normal newsletter that goes to a wider range of more customer oriented folks. This is more internal to business owners and leaders and board members and other working groups that we're involved with. So please do get my email down and send me all information you think would be pertinent, and I'll do my best to add that to our business e-newsletter. Like I said, it'll be going out at least twice a month. The days aren't really consistent. It's just a matter of me getting the information on there and our committee looking at it for any other errors and getting that out. So just want to let you all know that. Thank you so much.
That's excellent. Thanks for keeping us updated, Daniel. Lizzie.
As was what was reported earlier, we have seen some more folks just spending more time at the Pershing Park area, but we've also noticed more vehicles, and I'm wondering if that is because the commuter lot closed for cleaning. So if New Beginnings, I don't think they're on here, but if somebody could ask them to swing by and they're parked along the side streets, not necessarily in the parking lots.
We had 5 RVs that were relocating themselves because of closure of the commuter lot along the East Montecito street corridor. So we can definitely have New Beginnings continue to do outreach. There was a aggressive outreach, I will say, for the 3 to 4 months prior to the commuter lot closure. And so folks that have not been receptive to services are still kind of landing and moving around to different locations, but we did track 5 vehicles that were relocated to that region. So you're correct, Lizzie, on that. The commuter lot's reopening, but only for permitted vehicles, both as commuters as well as permitted vehicles as part of the daytime safe parking program there as well. And overall, we're seeing a substantial increase of people experiencing vehicular homelessness. So I will say both Santa Barbara, Goleta, and a little bit of Carpinteria are all coming together to make sure that this is a priority for county resources. And we're having much more discussions about both short-term and long-term solutions specifically for vehicular homelessness because of that.
I'm not sure if this, thank you for that, Barbara. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate place to have to bring this up, but I'm a little curious what this group thinks about, if you all had a chance to read that article in News Hawk about housing over hotels. And there was one particular comment from a developer that said, you know, tourism is down because of homelessness and crime. And as a hotelier, I can tell you tourism is down because we're in our shoulder season. It typically goes down this time of year. And with that said, had COVID not happened, occupancy in ADR is higher than the trajectory that it would have been if we had a normal 2020. So that statement is false, and it's a little kind of risky to have that narrative out there, because a comment like that, if somebody Googles Santa Barbara hotels and that's the comment, that's the news article that pops up, it paints the picture that we're San Francisco and we're not. So I'm wondering if SB Act has a response to that, or if there's a counter narrative, maybe talking about the services that are offered, and that the crimes reports coming out are not necessarily related to homelessness. And as we've seen, our crime trends are decreasing. So I just wonder if there's going to be a counter narrative or a response to that.
I'd love to work on something, Liz. I might follow up with you on that, but we have that. Yes. So yes, I'll take a look at that.
You know, if I can suggest, Landon, too, I think that's something that Barbara would be particularly well versed in, because she handles between law enforcement and our coordination for these services. We can put together a narrative that's more, and I agree with you, Lizzie, you have to put out you have to put out the good story. You can't put out the negative story. And that's the, you know, the idea that, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised when you get more flack over the shooting on Santa Barbara on State Street, even though it was one random one-off. But still, you're right. Those narratives are really punishing and bad. And I think I hate to sit there and volunteer Barbara when I'm looking at her right in the face, but I think that'd be the way to really put the narrative forward, was with her breadth of experience and you know, what she does for every day. I think we can do that.
Yeah, and I will say it's been a tough couple weeks of that narrative. So and we are making significant progress. So one is people are coming here, right? Because they think they're going to be housed quicker. Two, we're seeing a higher acuity of folks remaining on the street, because those are the folks that have not been receptive to outreach, not receptive to case management, and not receptive to housing navigation. So it is the balance. And overall, our counts continue to decrease. And we are not San Francisco, and we're not Los Angeles. And I will always commit to making sure that both that we lead with compassion, and two, that if there is illegal activity happening, we're working with law enforcement to address that, and address that in a timely way. So Lizzie, thank you for offering the hospitality data as it relates to and provides context for the homelessness data. And Landon, I love the idea of partnering together to bring both of those voices through and sharing more accurate information. And I know our South County Collaborative on Homelessness, one of the goals is public education, community awareness, really trying to address misperception, misinformation, and share more of the success stories that we're experiencing. We have never been at a time where we have interim housing on the way that is actually going to address our total need countywide, as well as permanent housing opening, and those referrals happening at a faster pace than we've ever been able to accomplish before. So I will say over the next 6 to 8 months, we'll have more flow in our system than we've had for many of the years prior to that. So you're right, we need to share that more, and we need to work together to get that messaging out as well.
Thank you. And I think Kristen from the Chamber and Kathy from Visit Santa Barbara would also collaborate with you on that.
That's great. Thanks for raising that, Lizzie. All right, seeing no other hands at the moment, I think we'll go ahead and close the meeting for community members so that we can have a few minutes with the service providers. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Hey, Landon, on that note, is everyone in here pretty much?
No, I think
not
we
yet.
still